Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me today for our Get to Know Ontario Tech presentation. My name is Roger Regnath, and I'm a Regional Market Development Manager here at Ontario Tech University. Now, before we begin, I'll just go over a few housekeeping notes on what you can expect over the next 45 minutes. So to start, I'll have a presentation on all things Ontario Tech that will take about 20 to 25 minutes. And then, of course, there's plenty of time at the end for a Q&A period as well. So if you do have any questions about admissions, campus, or anything else Ontario Tech related, feel free to throw your question in the Q&A section, and I'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Now, to start our presentation, I would like to provide a land acknowledgement, and this is something that our university community does to continue reconciliation and allyship for Indigenous peoples. Ontario Tech University acknowledges the lands and people of the Mississaugas of Scugog Islands First Nations. We're thankful to be welcomed on these lands in friendship. The lands we are situated on are covered under the Williams Treaties and are the traditional territory of the Mississauga, a branch of the Greater Anishinaabe Nation, including Algonquin, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. These lands remain home to a number of Indigenous nations and people. Now, without our past, present, and future students, our university would be nothing. So let's start off our presentation by taking a look at some of our past students. Firstly, we have Jessica, who's a recent graduate of our university's kinesiology program. Now, first year Jessica knew that this is where she was going to grow and where she was going to succeed, and she did just that. Now, beyond her academics, Jessica became the vice president and president of our Ontario Tech Student Union, and after graduating, she started working as a project manager for the Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development of Canada, but has now moved on to pursue her passion of working as a personal trainer at F45 Fitness. Next, we have Lisa Bailey, who represents our Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences all over campus. While doing a major in mechanical engineering with a specialization in sustainability studies, Lisa was a tour guide, a student follow-up caller, and an avid volunteer at events all over campus. Now, towards the end of her university journey, Lisa used her support system here at Ontario Tech to prepare her for her first of many job interviews, ultimately deciding to accept a wonderful job offer with Bruce Power. Now, Jesse Allen is another member of our Ontario Tech community who actually joined in his second year as a transfer student. Now, according to Jesse, his undergraduate career in chemistry at Ontario Tech prepared him for his graduate studies and ultimately led to his success in achieving his PhD. Now, according to Jesse, the skills that he learned in his undergraduate and graduate courses, labs, and thesis-related projects are still being used in his chemist career path in the current day. Now, outside of his chemist career path, Jesse also calls the chemistry program small but tight-knit group of students his friends in the current day. Now, of course, there's also one other person that I would love to introduce you to today, and that is me. So good morning again, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Roger Regnath, and I'm part of the recruitment team here at Ontario Tech. But not too long ago, I was also a student in our Communication and Digital Media Studies program. Now, throughout my time as a student at Ontario Tech, I was involved in various work study positions. I participated in many experiential learning opportunities. I joined some intramural sports teams, clubs, and societies, and I've met hundreds, if not thousands, of wonderful people along my university journey. Now, Ontario Tech has provided myself and these three others with some amazing opportunities, but as you can see, no two students take that exact same journey. So I'm here today to share with you what Ontario Tech might have in store for an individual like yourself. Now, when we opened our doors in 2002, we had all of you in mind. All of our programs are tailored to your generation. Now, we've created the university with that and you in mind, and that's why all of our programs are career-oriented, so that whether you want to work right away or pursue some further education and qualifications, you're going to find the program and experiences that you need right here. Now, all of our programs are relevant to today's job market, ensuring that you'll be prepared for your field post-graduation. Now, it's demonstrated by every single one of our programs having some form of experiential learning opportunities, and it's showcased through our graduates who are extremely successful with employment right after graduation. So in a nutshell, we're a 21st century university designed for a 21st century workplace tailored to your generation. Now, let's talk a little bit about these fantastic programs that you've heard me mention. Now, there are so many things to consider when choosing a program, such as what you're interested in, what you're strong at, and what you can really see yourself doing as a long-term career. Now, one of my best pieces of advice to you is to do what you love, as it's going to make your studying and your future career so much more enjoyable. Now, if you're like me, when I was in grade 12, personally, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was older. Maybe you do have a general idea, but you don't know about all of the possible programs and career opportunities out there. Now, hopefully, one of these areas of study speak to you. So let's take some time to go over these various areas of expertise that our university covers, and I can show you how they can align with your program and career needs. Now, if topics such as entrepreneurship, big brand names, and overall the world of finance speak to you, then this might be the cluster for you. Now, you can take our comprehensive commerce program, then switch into one of the more focused majors, including accounting, finance, marketing, HR, or technology management, or you can also apply to those programs directly as well. Starting in 2023, we will also have a new entrepreneurship program as well, which is really exciting. Now, a lot of our graduates from these programs go on to work in a diverse range of businesses across Canada, including CIBC, BMO, IBM, Deloitte, and many more amazing organizations. Now, maybe you have a huge interest in computers and technology, and as a tech-embedded university, I can certainly say we won't let you down. Our most competitive program listed here is our computer science program, where you're going to learn a ton of different programming languages, including Java, Python, C++, Swift, and many more. You may also have some labs where you're following some basic facial recognition code or learning about machine learning integration with AI. Now, our game development and interactive media program is also a fairly exceptional and competitive program, and it doesn't just focus on gaming, but rather overall simulation in a variety of different scenarios. So, for example, using virtual reality for first responder training. Now, this program highlights how there are plenty of job opportunities out there that you may not know of just yet, but will still certainly help you advance in your field. Another cool thing about the game development and interactive media program is that you'll make your own video game in the program each year, so that by the time you graduate in about 4 or 5 years' time, you'll have your own portfolio of games that you've built yourself from scratch. Now, if you have a passion for teaching anywhere from kindergarten to high school, then we also have a program for you. Now, I'll start off by noting that if you do want to pursue our Bachelor of Education program, you must have another bachelor's degree first. But don't worry, we can make this process as smooth as possible for you. We offer a concurrent education program, which essentially gives you an early acceptance into our Bachelor of Education program right after you finish another bachelor program at Ontario Tech. So if you're accepted into the concurrent education program, right after you finish your other undergraduate degree at Ontario Tech in about 4 or 5 years' time, you'll already have a smooth transition into our Bachelor of Education program, so long as you keep an eligible GPA. This is fantastic because our Bachelor of Education program is highly competitive, as it's one of the shortest in Ontario. Now, again, if you do have any questions about becoming a teacher in Ontario, definitely feel free to ask me more about this in the Q&A session at the end as well. Now, speaking of programs that are highly competitive, but also highly known, engineering at Ontario Tech is one of a kind, and it's known on both national and international levels. We've been ranked 3rd in Ontario and 8th in Canada as one of the best universities to study engineering at, and we have a top 10 electrical and mechanical engineering program as well. Now, similarly to the commerce program, you can go into the comprehensive engineering program and then apply to switch into one of the more specialized majors afterwards as well, or again, you can apply to those majors directly. Now, mechatronics engineering is one of our most competitive engineering programs, and it focuses on both hardware and software in regards to robotic systems. Now, the automotive engineering program at Ontario Tech is also one of its kind in Canada and focuses on preparing our engineers for the advancing automotive industry. And we do this through studying alternative technologies such as fuel cell-driven cars or electric cars. Now, our university is also home to the ACE Wind Tunnel, which is a $125 million facility that can simulate a variety of climates from minus 40 degrees to plus 60 degrees. Now, this will be used in a variety of your labs, such as for fluid dynamics or aerodynamics as well, and it's a great opportunity for some hands-on learning for our students. Now, if you're looking to go into a career around human health, the body, or medicine, then this is also a great place to be. We have some broader programs such as health sciences or kinesiology, and then there's many more specific programs as well, such as integrative neuroscience or nursing. Now, nursing is very popular and competitive here at Ontario Tech because in nursing, you'll get your clinical placements in every year of the program starting in your first year. Now, for nursing, plus all of the other health science programs, there are a ton of labs with high-tech equipment used for simulation. Now, in nursing, labs can involve you helping a mannequin through some fairly advanced tasks, such as giving birth or mock taking blood. Now, recently, we've also developed some medical school and veterinary school pathway programs as well that offer students a strong pathway to a Caribbean medical school directly after finishing an undergraduate program at Ontario Tech with a 75% average or higher. So, depending on if you're looking at the med school or the veterinary school pathway, programs can include our chemical biology program, health sciences, human health science, integrative neuroscience, life science, and public health program. And again, I'd be happy to chat about this medical school pathway or veterinary school pathway afterwards as well. Now, in the sciences, we have plenty of programs to cover a variety of specializations. We have your standard chemistry, bio, and physics, but we also have some more specialized programs as well, such as astrophysics, life sciences, and we also recently introduced a marine biology program. Now, speaking of marine biology, we do have a 20,000 liter wet lab open for our undergraduate research as part of that program as well. Now, a very specialized program here as well that we have listed on this slide is our forensic science program, which is one of 5 in Ontario, but one of 2 that's accredited by the American Academy of Forensic Sciences Forensics Education Program Accreditation Commission. Now, the highlight of this program at Ontario Tech is our 2-story crime scene house, which is a 2-story building that we use to recreate, document, and analyze different elements of a crime scene. Now, a lot of the science professors argue that you can do so much with the science degree and you're not solely held to 1 or 2 career paths, which is always fantastic to hear. And of course, saving the best for last, we have our social science and humanities programs. Now, if you think I'm biased just because I graduated from one of these programs, chances are you may be a little bit right, but some of our popular programs listed here are our criminology and justice program and our legal studies program, as they both provide students with a strong pathway to law school. Now, our social science and humanities programs are all located on our downtown Oshawa location, offering students tons of community engagement opportunities, practicum and internship placement opportunities, and of course, research opportunities. We've actually been ranked the #1 undergraduate university in Canada for social science and humanities grants. And again, as a graduate from this faculty, I would love to discuss these programs further if you do have any questions about them. Now, in the last few slides, you may have heard me throw around the word experiential learning. Now, what experiential learning is it's very similar to a co-op in high school, but there are plenty more ways to get this experiential or hands-on learning. Now, at Ontario Tech, every single one of our programs has some form of experiential learning. It can just vary from program to program, faculty to faculty. So for example, Connor Smiley in our top right corner was a student in our game development program who chose Ontario Tech specifically because he wanted to pursue his passion of game development. Now, he landed an internship as an engine programmer for the video game conglomerate Ubisoft. Or below Connor, there's Celisa Haskins, who's a recent graduate of our university's forensic psychology program and chose Ontario Tech specifically for its practicum component. Now, Celisa says that her advisors went above and beyond to secure her a placement at the Ontario Shore Centre for Mental Health Sciences in the Forensic Unit. Now, after finishing her undergraduate program and pursuing a master's in counseling, Celisa now runs her very own private clinic. I personally also had the opportunity to do some undergraduate research where I looked at the correlation between our local university students and the external Oshawa community, and this actually helped me land a job right after graduating with the Downtown Oshawa Business Improvement Association. Now, beyond academics, there's so much more to being a Ridgeback here at Ontario Tech. A Ridgeback refers not only to our varsity athletes or our mascot, Hunter the Ridgeback, pictured there in the blue, but also every single member of our community here at Ontario Tech. So let's take some time to discuss where your Ridgeback journey will begin and how exactly you can apply to become an Ontario Tech Ridgeback. Now here, I'll just walk you through the process of applying and some very important dates and deadlines, which you may or may not be familiar with already. Now, you must apply and submit your application in full to the program of your choice by January 31st for our competitive programs. Now, that includes computer science, data science, digital media, and nursing. And again, the deadline for those programs to apply to is January 31st, 2023 for the fall 2023 intake. For all the other programs, your deadline to apply will be March 31st, 2023. Now, in between that, I do want to highlight February 23rd, which is our deadline to apply for some of our international scholarships, which we'll also touch on in a few slides from now as well. Now, another date that you want to highlight is number 4 there, June 1st. Now, this is your deadline to apply to our residence buildings on campus to guarantee your stay in our residence accommodations. And again, we'll talk about our residence in a few slides from now as well. You'll then have until either July 17th or August 11th to completely send us your final documents for the program that you've been accepted to if you receive a conditional offer as well. Now, in terms of the ways you can apply, there are two ways you can apply to Ontario Tech University. Option one, noted in the box in our bottom right corner there, is through the Ontario University's Application Centre website. Now, if you're thinking of applying to multiple universities within Ontario, I'd recommend taking that route. However, if you're only applying to Ontario Tech University, I would recommend applying to us directly through ontariotechu.ca/international applications, as this is our internal application, and it will save you a little bit of money, again, if you're not applying through the Ontario University's Application Centre. Now, moving on to our next slide, since Ontario Tech is an English medium school, we do require proof of English language proficiency to ensure that you are equipped for an English language classroom. Now, if your first language is English or you've completed 3 years of full-time study in English at a secondary or post-secondary institution, then that will suffice for proving English language proficiency. Otherwise, we do have an English for Academic Purposes program, or we accept various English language tests. Now, Ontario Tech accepts many language tests, including TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, and many more. For IELTS, you'll see that you need an overall score of 7 for nursing and education, and an overall score of 6.5 for every other undergraduate program, with no subscore below 6.0. Now, you're able to review the accepted tests and scores at ontariotechu.ca/ELP. Now, if you don't meet our English language requirements through one of these tests, don't worry, as I mentioned, we do have an English language center as well. And as for our English language center, this provides an English for Academic Purposes program for our students who meet GPA requirements for an undergraduate program, but require a little bit more assistance with, again, the English language. Now, when you enter into this program and after you've received a conditional offer to, again, one of our undergraduate programs, you can join our English Language Center to pursue some further studies in English before you start your undergraduate program here at Ontario Tech. Again, these are the fees for 8 weeks in the program, and more information can be found at ontariotechu.ca/EAP. Now, at Ontario Tech University, as you can see on the slide, we do have a general breakdown of what you can expect for your total tuition and cost as an international student. Now, it costs about $38,000 to $52,000 per year, and the breakdown by tuition alone can be found on the numbers in orange. Now, please keep in mind that these costs are in Canadian dollars, and the numbers in the blue for your rough overall average cost will include your tuition, residence, meal plans, health insurance, and ancillary fees. Now, again, this does vary by program as well as your personal spending habits for meal plans and residence accommodations as well. But of course, we do offer some major entrance scholarships for our international students at Ontario Tech. Our Global Leadership Award and our International Leadership Award are both the first two at the top there. And as I mentioned, the deadline to apply to those scholarships is February 23rd. Now, we also offer entrance awards and international merit awards based on your high school averages. And of course, our English Language Center also provides some scholarship opportunities as well. Now, some of these scholarships you do have to apply for on your own. So again, as I mentioned, there are a variety of student awards, scholarships, bursaries, grants, donor awards, and many more student awards and financial aid assistance for you here at Ontario Tech. So what I do want to, again, note to you is that our student awards and financial aid team is here to help assist you with any scholarship, bursaries, and financial aid questions that you may have. But again, I do want to highlight those two awards there at the top again, in particular, our Global Leadership Award, which you do have to apply to by February 23rd, 2023. Now, you're probably starting to see how life as a Ridgeback means so much more than just being an academic student here at Ontario Tech. Life on campus is about more than just being in a classroom. It's about making friends. It's about joining clubs and societies. It's about attending some of our varsity sports games. And overall, it's about being a part of the Ridgeback community that will always be here to support you and help you become the person that you want to be. So with that in mind, with your student experience going beyond the classroom, let's take some time to talk about our campus and our city. Now, Ontario Tech University is located in Oshawa, Ontario, which is a part of the Durham region. We're located in close proximity to the 401 highway, about a 45-minute drive away from downtown Toronto, which is another major city here in Ontario. Now, there are many significant landmarks, entertainment, food, culture, and much more throughout the area. So for some local fun, students often adventure out to Neb's Fun World for some bowling, Cineplex to watch a movie, or one of the many restaurants in the area to grab a bite to eat. Now, if you're like me and you need some coffee in the morning, there are places to get some breakfast such as Cork and Bean or Brew Wizards. Now, there's also some many more Oshawa specialty spots, as I like to refer to them, such as the Oshawa Center Shopping Mall or the Tribute Community Center, which is where our Oshawa Generals professional hockey team plays, or Pingle's Farm Market, where you can grab some amazing fall photos. Or, of course, you can always take that quick trip down to downtown Toronto for some more added fun. Now, looking even closer at our campus, we do have residence buildings available. Here at Ontario Tech, we have 2 residence buildings, South Village and Simcoe Village. Now, costs will vary depending on the type of room you apply for, as well as the cost for a meal plan depending on your eating habits. Now, quick note for our food options, we do have vegan, vegetarian, halal, gluten-free, and dairy-free meal options. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, we can guarantee your spot in our residence buildings as long as you apply to our residence buildings before June 1st. So again, if you know you'd like to stay in our residence buildings on campus, you'll need to get your application in to our residence buildings before then. Now, let's talk a little bit about our room types. We'll start on the left with South Village, where there's only one room type in South Village's building. Here, you have your own space for a bedroom with a shared space for a kitchenette and bathroom space. Now, in South Village, a meal card is required, so that's just something to take note of when applying to that residence building. Next, in the middle, we have Simcoe Village North. Now, this is the exact same as South Village, except there, a meal card is not required. And on our far right, we have Simcoe Village South and Simcoe Village Central. Now, those 2 room types are almost identical with a shared space for a bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom. The only difference is that the fridge in Simcoe Village Central is a little bit bigger. So if you're going to be doing a lot of cooking and storing food, then I'd recommend Simcoe Village Central over Simcoe Village North. Now, more information on the meal plans, fees, roommates, accommodations, services, and of course, the application to apply to our residence buildings can be found on the website in the bottom left corner there, which is ontariotechuresidence.ca. Now, moving away from home or even just starting this new chapter in your life is a big deal. But students, parents, teachers, guidance counselors, if there's one thing that I need you to know about Ontario Tech University, it's that our university community is extremely intimate and caring, and you're going to find support for almost everything and anything you need to help you make the most of your university student experience. So for more academic and education support, our academic advisors are here to help you switch in and out of courses and help make sure that you're on track to getting your degree. Peer tutors and subject specialists are also available for a variety of programs to help you with any course content that you may be struggling with throughout the year. Groups such as our digital community and our Ontario Tech Student Union are also active on campus, making sure that our Ridgebacks have supports, events, resources, clubs, societies, and much more to help them get involved, meet others, and feel connected to campus. Now, it all starts with your very own first-year transition programs and orientation, but of course, it certainly doesn't stop there, with your peer leaders and your academic advisors reaching out to check in on you periodically as well. Now, with our large supportive community and university continuing to grow, the reason Ontario Tech meets the needs of our current students expands every single day. Now, these are just a few of the many reasons why our students have chosen us, from our smaller class sizes, appealing programs, our well-known engineering programs, experiential learning opportunities, modern facilities, affordable tuition, close community, caring professors, and many, many, many more spectacular reasons. So now it's time for you to start paving your very own Ontario Tech story. For a first step, if you haven't already, I'd recommend scanning that QR code so that way you can stay up to date with information regarding Ontario Tech, the application process, events, and much more directly from our recruitment team. And of course, there's also many other ways to connect with us, both virtually and in person. We often hold open house and experience days where you can come learn more about our programs, see our campus, and much more on those specific days. But of course, we do also hold on-campus and virtual tours year-round as well. There are also a variety of webinars that you can join, including our current student panel webinar, our Life Beyond the Classroom webinar, and our Applying to Ontario Tech University webinars as well, where again, you can just learn more about the various services and departments here at Ontario Tech. If you do have any personal questions, you can even book a virtual meeting with a recruiter such as myself at ontariotechu.ca/meetwithus. We do have a mobile app as well for our university, and we also have a live chat on our website so that if you do have any questions, you can hop onto a live chat and you can speak live with a recruiter, again, from my team as well. We're also on social media, and our handle is @OTFutureStudent, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Now, again, I'd like to thank you all for listening to our Get to Know Ontario Tech University presentation this morning. And of course, now, as I promised, is the time for Q&A. So I'm going to just stop sharing my screen for a second. And, tons of great questions here. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top, excuse me. And I'm going to, again, probably share my screen just so I can pull up the website as well. And we can go over a bit more information regarding your questions. Awesome. So the first question just off of this presentation here is, what advantages do I have in applying early? That is a great question. So with that in mind, our equal considerations deadlines are January 31st for competitive programs and March 31st for non-competitive programs. Now, while there's not necessarily a huge advantage in applying early, the thing is you may just hear back on your admissions decision a little bit quicker if you do have all of your documents and transcripts and marks inputted to us. With that in mind, again, as long as you apply before the equal considerations deadline, you'll be assessed equally. So again, you might hear back a tiny bit sooner, but again, I'd recommend, as I mentioned, as long as you apply before that equal considerations deadline of either January 31st for competitive programs or March 31st for non-competitive programs, you'll be assessed equally. That is a great question. Awesome. There are a few questions here on master's programs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen, as our presentation just now was mainly focused on undergraduate programs. However, we do also have a variety of master's programs as well. So I'm just going to share my screen one more time here. I believe everyone can see this. These are just all of our master's programs as well. So you can find these again by going to ontariotechu.ca/programs and clicking our master's programs, and you'll see there are a ton. So someone asked about our AI program. So we have an MBAI program for our master's programs, which is fantastic. I'm going to scroll through this list again here to see if there were any others in particular people were looking for. Health sciences, yes. We have a master's of health sciences, not necessarily a public health one, which someone asked about. Public health AI, great. Technology management, again, not necessarily called technology management at the master's level. We do have a technology management program at the undergraduate level. And then at the master's level, we do have an engineering management program just here on the left. So that's a great question. And again, you can find all of our programs at ontariotechu.ca/programs. Great questions. Awesome. Awesome. Someone asked, do I have a chance to get an offer letter by IELTS at 6.0 for a master's program? So again, I'm just going to go to ontariotechu.ca/ELP for English language proficiency. And this is again where you can find all of our English language proficiency results for our undergraduate programs. For our graduate programs, you will need to navigate to this through our graduate studies website, as again, this is just for undergraduate. So for our graduate programs, English language proficiency. Oh, sorry, wrong page. You'll see here for IELTS, you'll need 6.5 or higher, or again, 7 or higher for health sciences, master's in education, EED, MBAI, or MFDA. So again, a 6.0 will unfortunately not make you eligible for our master's level programs. Awesome, great questions. The next question is there co-op available for nursing? That is a great question. So co-op in particular, no, but you will get clinical placements in every year of your program as well. And clinical placements are, again, where you're put in a workplace environment and you're going to get that hands-on work experience. And again, why your nursing program at Ontario Tech is so popular is because you do get those clinical placements in every year of the program, including your first year. So in your first year of your second semester, you will have one of those clinical placements where, again, you go out and get that hands-on working experience in the field. That is a great question. one kind of discussed a little bit earlier is there any financial aid for international students at Ontario Tech University? Yes, there is. Great question. I know I brought up a few in our presentation here, but I'll just take you back to our Student Awards and Financial Aid website. Again, there's a variety of scholarships specifically for international students, which you can find on our website. Again, if you just kind of type into Google ontariotechu.ca scholarships for international students, you'll see that there's quite a few here. Again, mainly being our Global Leadership Award, which is our biggest one, valued at $72,000. And again, your deadline to apply is in February, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. Great question. Scrolling back up. I want to qualify my son to register in this university. He's very much interested in AI. That's great. Again, going back to our programs, there are a ton that he may be interested in, including our computer science program, or perhaps our game development and interactive media program. Through our programs website, you'll be able to find a variety of our programs, including if you go AI. AI is a little bit too small for our search, but you can go again, computers. You'll see computer sciences. You can search it by area of study. So you can go computers and technology and find a variety of programs here. But yes, I'd recommend either our computer science program or perhaps our game development and interactive media program. Awesome. Does this university offer a PhD in education, leadership, and policy? Great question. So I'm going to go again, just back to education here. And you can see some of the light blue ones are undergraduate programs here. But if we scroll, oh, we're in the undergraduate part of the website. Sorry about that. At the graduate level in education, we do have these programs. So we do have some online master's programs, and then we do have an education doctoral program as well. So yes, that is an option to you here at Ontario Tech, which is fantastic. Awesome. The next question is, what are the on-campus libraries like? Oh, that's a great question. So there's a library at both our North Campus and our downtown location as well. Again, the thing that I love about our library is that they're very new. There's a ton of space for students to study in, whether it be at the desks out in the open, or there's also study rooms that you can book that are more so on the outskirts of the library as well. So with that in mind, there are a ton of spots. They definitely crowd up around exam season in particular. But again, there's plenty of space for all of our students. So with that in mind, again, it can get busier around exam season, but you're always going to find somewhere that you can kind of sit and study, whether it be one of the quieter levels on the higher parts of our library, or if you just want to kind of chat and mingle amongst some friends, you can also find some spaces like that as well. In our library, we also have a fireside reading room, which is a really nice space for students to just kind of hang out, relax. Again, some small conversations in there are okay. But again, the libraries, they're very new, they're very fresh. I believe it's 80% of our library's resources are also digital, so you can access them from almost anywhere in the world as well. But again, plenty of resources and student spaces within our library as well. Great question. I believe we touched on some specific major financial aid and scholarship opportunities there. Someone next asked, can they send their son from 10th grade? So again, for almost all of our undergraduate programs, you do have to have the most senior level course. Typically, this is referred to as grade 12, sometimes year 4. But again, typically in your curriculum, you need to be in the most senior level grade before you enter university. And of course, you'll need some specific prerequisite courses, your general international admission requirements, and much more. So again, I'd recommend going to our international applicants page just for more information on specific admission requirements related to your curriculum. Again, all listed here. So for 10th grade, I'm going to assume no, likely not, because you will have to, again, complete grade 12 before starting at Ontario Tech. Awesome, great questions. The next question is, what are the chances of admissions for our information technology security for someone coming from an accounting background at the undergraduate level? Great question. So again, if you're looking at an undergraduate program, I'd recommend checking out these admission requirements just right here. You'll need some specific prerequisite courses, typically, again, a senior level English and math course with an overall average in the low to mid 70s for our IT security program or for accounting. Again, those kind of specific questions about various program requirements and your curriculum can kind of be found here on our international admission requirements or specific subject prerequisites as well. Again, the thing to keep in mind is we can't pre-assess your eligibility. You do have to formally apply to have your transcripts looked over by an admissions officer. Awesome. The next question is, if I am from an English-speaking country, do I still need to take an English language proficiency test? No, you do not. If you're from a country where English is not the first language instruction, then you need to prove it. But if you are from a country where English is the first language, or again, you've studied in English formally full-time for 3 or more years, then that will suffice for English language proficiency. Great question. The next one is, does the school have a big athletic culture? Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, we have a variety of sports teams at the varsity, intramural, and extramural levels. We have a variety of sports offered, from hockey, soccer, basketball, rowing, badminton. The list goes on and on. So with that in mind, absolutely, you can go to goridgebacks.com, and the Ridgebacks, again, are what we refer to not only our varsity athletes as, but also our whole community. So yes, absolutely, we have a ton of athletic culture here at Ontario Tech, with a variety of athletic facilities as well, including our campus recreation and wellness center, our campus field house, our campus ice center, Bassos Field, which is our outdoor turf soccer field. So absolutely, tons of athletic culture around the university. Awesome. The next question is there something in particular that your admissions readers look at when evaluating applications? Great question. So at the undergraduate level, we only require your grades. There's no supplementary applications for our undergraduate program admissions. So there's no reference letters, portfolios, work experience, nothing like that. It really is just your grades and those prerequisite courses. So with that in mind, not necessarily anything extra, but again, my best advice to everyone is to make sure that you have the specific prerequisite courses needed for the program that you're desired to enter in. And again, keep your grades as high as possible. Awesome. The next question is, scroll up. Is there an internship/externship opportunity for economics? Great question. So we technically don't have a program specifically titled economics, but again, for a lot of our business programs, whether it be commerce, entrepreneurship, accounting, finance, marketing, there is, again, co-op or internship opportunities. So yes, great question. Co-op and internships are typically for 8, 12, or 16 months of a paid placement opportunity, which is always a fantastic opportunity, not only to kind of get your work experience, but also to get a little bit of income as well. Awesome. Great question. The next one is, how can I apply for admissions? Yeah, that's a great question. Again, we touched on it a little bit in the presentation, so I'll just go over it here quickly, which is just that there are 2 options, one of which is you apply on the Ontario University's Application Centre website, and I'd recommend doing that if you're applying to multiple universities within Ontario. However, if you're only applying to Ontario Tech within our province, I'd recommend applying to us directly, as you'll save a little bit of money. You'll be paying $100 as opposed to $166 through the Ontario University's Application Centre. And those are the 2 ways that you'll go about applying to us. Afterwards, again, you'll need to send us your transcripts and personal information. And of course, you'll then afterwards, after assessed by an admissions officer, you'll receive an admissions decision. Awesome. Great. We spoke a little bit again on scholarships, so I won't go over that. The next question, I keep losing my spot here. The next question is, how accessible are the professors? That is a great question. And I'll start off by saying that's actually one of the main reasons why I chose Ontario Tech personally, is the professors and the whole community here at Ontario Tech are extremely accessible, not only accessible, but also caring. On top of that, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today if it weren't for my professors. With a lot of the classes that you'll receive here at Ontario Tech, you're going to find yourself in smaller class sizes, meaning you won't really just be a number or a small hand in a lecture hall. You're really going to get that opportunity to know your classmates, but also your professors within a couple of months, maybe a year. A lot of my professors knew my name because, again, the class sizes and the learning environment are very intimate and caring. So you'll have that opportunity to not be a number. You'll be able to put your hand up in class and ask a question. You'll be able to go to your professors after class and ask them any questions you have. They often hold office hours where, again, you can kind of go and ask them questions outside of class time. They're available via email. So with that in mind, again, the professors go above and beyond to offer students things like events to go to, job opportunities, really special learning experiences. And again, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for some of my professors. So in one word, they're not necessarily just accessible, they're also really caring as well, which is awesome. That's a great question. Awesome. Great. We've gone over a little bit about applying scholarships. One person asked, is it possible to be accepted without IELTS if I originally studied in English at the university? Again, Yes, if you've studied in English for 3 or more years formally full-time, that will suffice for proving English language proficiency. Great. The next, I know I'm also running a little bit low on time here, so I'm going to have time for about 2 or 3 more questions. The next question is, what is the culture like at Ontario Tech? And that is another great question. So at Ontario Tech as a whole, our university is really intimate and caring. As I kind of mentioned a few times, it's going to be really easy to, again, get to know others on campus, whether it be your peers or your professors or even the staff. Everyone here is really cooperative and really here to kind of help you make the most of your university experience. I find even within the students, there's not really any competition. Everyone's there to really work together and kind of, again, help each other make the most of their university experience. There's tons of ways to get involved on campus, whether it be through clubs and societies to kind of tailor towards your personal interest. There's athletics. So again, if you're into sports, there are a ton of teams that you can join at the intramural, extramural, or varsity level. Again, if you're struggling academically, there are plenty of supports for that as well, such as subject specialists or peer tutors. So again, with that in mind, needless to say, like, you'll be taken care of from day one with our recruitment team, kind of here to support you throughout the application process. And then once you're a student, the other students, your professors, your staff, they'll all kind of be there to help you make the most of your university experience. So with that in mind, we're very diverse, we're very welcoming, and of course, we're very caring as well. Awesome. The next question is, what are the requirements for finance? Again, great question. If you go to our international applicants page, you'll be able to see here the general kind of requirements for our international applicants. Subject in particular, you can kind of go here. Finance, you'll see that you need typically the most senior level English and math for your curriculum. So again, you can find all of the prerequisites and specific international admission requirements just here on our international applicants page as well. Great question. Does the university offer an English language courses? Great question. The answer is yes and no. Technically, as an undergraduate program, so a 4-year bachelor program, we don't necessarily offer English. The closest program that I would recommend we do have is the Communication and Digital Media Studies program. However, if you're looking for English courses to prove English language proficiency, we do have our English for Academic Purposes program through our English Learning Center. And again, these are 8-week programs that you can, again, take in various levels to, again, brush up on your English language proficiency. So with that in mind, it's not necessarily like a 4-year bachelor's program, but it is something that you can kind of do to get into another program, depending on exactly where that question was leading. Again, that was a great question. Awesome. And I know I am running out of time here. I know I only have about a minute left. So unfortunately, I do have to stop the questions. But with that in mind, please feel free to come chat with me at our booth here at the virtual fair today. I'd be happy to answer more questions, again, at our booth. And as I mentioned, there are a variety of ways that you connect with our team at ontariotecU.ca/connect with us, including our campus tours, which we offer virtually, webinars, meetings that you can book with our recruiters, and a variety of other resources, including our view books, the virtual tour, our mobile app, and much more. Awesome. I'd like to thank you all again for coming to our Get to Know Ontario Tech University presentation. It was a pleasure speaking with you all, and you had some fantastic questions, and I hope to see these questions continue at our booth. And of course, we hope to see you on campus sometime soon. Best of luck with your university applications, everyone, and thank you all for having me this afternoon. Bye.